today I want to share with you guys how I study chemistry. So I am a math person and I personally don't like to spend too much time studying chemistry, but I still like to get good grades. Therefore, I try to study with less quantity of time and more quality. In order to do that, I have some personal ways of studying chemistry. Before going to the tips, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. First things first, chemistry is a really tricky subject and it goes really far really soon. Being a tricky subject and having a lot of information and concepts to understand will make it harder for students to follow when learning the information and the concepts for the first time. To prevent yourself from confusion during class, I would recommend studying briefly about 3 to 10 minutes before the class starts. In this way, you know what to look for there in class and you will follow the information being taught more easily. The second tip is to listen while in class. I know it is hard to focus in classroom and it is definitely even harder to focus in an online class. But remember that these lessons are something that you need to study eventually. So why not let another person talk about them and make it easier for yourself? When teaching a lesson for the first time to students, teachers tend to break down the lesson into small pieces so that students can handle the information, meaning that they won't throw a whole chapter at you in one session. In some chapters, they even try to break down the subsections, which means the information will be shorter and easier to understand. If you try to read your book or your notes the night before the test, you will have no idea what you're doing and you will have a whole chapter or two to read in few days or hours. Now to the third tip. Listen before you write. When in class, try to listen to the instructor more than writing your notes. A lot of us try to write down our notes and rush because we don't want to fall behind or the teacher goes too fast or many other reasons. But listening first will make it easier for you to understand the lesson and in effect, you can write your notes in your own words, which will be easier for you to review. Tip number 4, restudy after class. When finished with the class, try to give yourself a break and go back to your notes in a few hours or the day after class. When restudying, you don't need to take any more notes or try to keep up with the teacher. This means that you can study with no rush and you will actually remember the information better. Restudying might be hard, but it will take less than an hour of your time and will save you from hours of studying the day before the exam. Before I start sharing how I use these tips personally, please remember to subscribe, like, and comment if you think these videos are helpful. I usually have a 10-minute break between my classes, and in that 10 minutes, I try to spend 3 to 5 minutes looking over the subsections and looking for some new vocabulary in the book. This will give me an idea of what to look for and what to write on my notes during class. Next, I try to be as early as I can to class. Remember that teachers tend to share important information in the beginning and at the end of the class. So I try to get to the class as soon as possible and leave as late as possible. Usually, if you're in class before others come, you'll see students asking your teachers questions. And the key here is that students tend to stay after or come before class with serious questions that take time to understand. Listening to the teacher answering the student's question will help you a lot. You may have a problem with a concept that you never knew, and seeing someone else mentioning it will remind you, and that is why getting to class early is important. When the class starts, I know what the teacher will be teaching today, therefore I know what to take notes on. This will help me to listen more in class and take notes on essential information. I use a notebook to write my notes ugly but fast, saving time to listen and understanding the lesson more carefully and better. After the class ends, I try to ask any questions I have. After a few hours, I go back to my notes and my textbook. I review the subsection that the teacher taught that day and try to review them. I don't go back and review the previous subsections, but I would recommend it if you have enough time. Since I don't like to study ugly notes, I rewrite my notes again in a lower pace but in a nice way. And if there are any examples that the teacher mentioned in class and I have in my notes, I rewrite them and try to do them on my own. The process of the after class may sound a lot, but it will usually take less than 45 minutes. Before going to the next set of tips, please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. Following these tips, you probably know the general idea of the lesson. Therefore, when it comes to the test, you will have less to study. A day or a few days before the test, I try to review my notes and spend most of my time doing practice problems. I do an easy and a hard practice problem for each subsection at first and try to see where I have most difficulty solving them, and spend the rest of my time practicing where I have a harder time in the lesson. Thank you for watching the full video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Good luck on your chemistry and see you in the next video.